We're in focus this time, yay! Alright, let's get into this. The Joker from The Dark Knight.
Ledger's Joker might, unironically, be one of the greatest villains of all time, really. The Dark Knight itself is just such a great film, and the Joker just highlights that perfectly. He's such an interesting villain. Yes, we don't know anything about him at first, but we get to know him and we understand much more about his character as we go throughout the movie. What else do I really need to say, other than he's just a really good foil for Batman?
Thanos from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Thanos is a very complex villain. What can I say? He's someone whose ideology and what he wants for the universe is one that rivals or makes even more sense than the protagonist. It's very interesting. He's one of the greatest villains of all time. What a unique design, unique ideology, and just everything about him. This, for me at least, is very important with a villain, is not only understanding where they're coming from, but questioning it, and questioning if their motivations and what they want is perhaps actually better than what the protagonists want. It's something that's interesting to consider, at least.
Handsome Jack, the Borderlands series.
Such is the case with one Handsome Jack as well. One man whose motivation and desires, well, they rival the protagonists, really, and might actually be better than what they want. Because, well, I don't want to go into too much more detail, but Handsome Jack is probably the deepest character in Borderlands, and rightfully so, he deserves his own big video. But let's just keep it brief for now, and say that Handsome Jack, his ideology, what he wants, his motivations, etc., are completely in contrast to the protagonists, and are actually better, or if you think about it, Handsome Jack and what he wants, it might be better than what the protagonists really want. It's interesting to consider, just like before.
Katakuri, One Piece.
My main mochi man, Katakuri. What isn't there to love about Katakuri? He's just like Luffy, but his literal opposite, his absolute foil. And not to mention, BGE goes into way more detail about this, but Katakuri is just so based. What a good foil to Luffy. I mean, his power is essentially the same, but he's mastered it at a level much higher than Luffy, and he was such a challenge for Luffy to overcome. What can I say? I just love One Piece, and Oda knows how to write a good villain, let's just say. And Katakuri is only one of them.
Darth Vader, Star Wars.
Lord Vader himself. Well, Anakin Skywalker, really, just in a different form. What is there to even be said about Darth Vader? He's just one of the most iconic villains of all time, really. And not only in episodes 4 through 6, but episodes 1 through 3. Learning who he was and how he became what he did is what's so important to understanding Star Wars at a deeper level. Hell, I can go into way more detail, so I'll try and keep this brief again. There's much more to say on Star Wars in all honesty, but that's just keeping it brief.
Red, Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
This might be a shock to you guys, but Red in Heart Gold Soul Silver. I mean, he is the final boss, isn't he? I'm not really too sure what else I really need to say that wasn't already said in the last video about protagonists, but I'll just say facing Red at the end of Heart Gold Soul Silver is just so based. Once again, who Red is and what he represents, and just the fact that it technically signifies it's you're battling yourself as the final boss from the previous gen, as I've said before, is just so fucking awesome.
Xemnas, Kingdom Hearts 2.
Xemnas is a great antagonist in Kingdom Hearts 2. Just getting halfway through the game and realizing that you've been played like a damn fiddle the whole time, it's just insane. The fact that Xemnas and subsequently Organization 13 were manipulating you the entire time is just crazy. It's a crazy revelation in Kingdom Hearts 2. And Xemnas is the one who's orchestrating all of that. And his desire to complete Kingdom Hearts so he can have a heart is very admirable, in all honesty. Yes, it's not good, and there's no sort of way that that idea is better than the protagonist, let's just say. It's a little less complex, but nonetheless, still really cool and interesting. And fighting Xemnas is one of the best boss fight sequences of all time, in all honesty. Fighting him one-on-one, going up his huge nobody dragon ship thing, it's just so cool. Then fighting him in armor, then to fighting him one-on-one in his black and white cloak. It's just so based. What can I say? Not to mention some of the best music in the series too, while fighting him. Just one aspect of many why I like Kingdom Hearts so much, especially 2.
The Anti-Spirals and Lord Genome, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
The Anti-Spirals and Lord Genome. What great antagonists. What else do I even need to say that hasn't already been said? These guys are just based as fuck. Perfect foils to the MC Simone, but in the end, asking for broader shoulders prevails.
Yubel, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Last but not least, Yubel. Haha, I don't want to go into any detail on this, for obvious reasons. Lol.
We're now back on track with your regularly scheduled videos.